my shield.
"I was there," he would say. Garviel Loken recalls that he was present on the day Horus slew the Emperor. At the time, it is simply an ironic joke, referring not to the Emperor of Terra, but to another man who falsely claimed the title. Unknown to anyone, those words will later become a terrible prophecy. Newly appointed Warmaster, Horus Lupercal leads the Luna Wolves against a self-proclaimed Emperor who claims to have preserved humanity through Old Night. His first task as Warmaster, Horus seeks peace, sending his beloved Captain Hastur Sejanus as an envoy. Instead, Sejanus and his honor guard are murdered, and a second diplomatic mission is destroyed before it can even land. When the Pretender reveals a hidden fleet and rejects every final offer of surrender, Horus reluctantly orders war. The Luna Wolves launch a devastating assault across land and space. Though the enemy possesses advanced weapons and disciplined soldiers, they cannot withstand the superhuman Astartes. Horus orders civilians spared whenever possible, and the false emperor captured alive. While Loken leads the 10th Company into the heart of the palace alongside the other captains of the Mournival, Abaddon, Aximan, and Tergaden. Despite moments of friendly rivalry with Abaddon, Loken is sobered by the cost of the campaign. He witnesses fallen Luna Wolves being honored as apothecaries recover their gene seed and reflects that the enemy are not monsters, but humans who genuinely believe they fight for the rightful emperor. As the Legion storms the High City's palace, Loken witnesses both the unmatched power of the Astartes and the heavy price of victory. His company battles hidden automated defenses before facing the mysterious Invisibles, elite warriors armed with cloaking technology and deadly force weapons capable of killing space marines. Loken adapts to their tactics and ultimately defeats them. Reaching the throne room, Loken finds an elderly ruler claiming to be the Emperor and attempts to accept his surrender peacefully. During their conversation, the old man questions why the Imperium could not simply leave his civilization alone, planting a seed of doubt in Loken's mind. Moments later, the old ruler is revealed to be a decoy as the true pretender emerges from concealment within the throne itself, unleashing a devastating attack hurling Loken, weakening him as he hangs on for dear life as the blast continues to decimate the throne room. The battle ends when Warmaster Horus teleports into the chamber, withstands the tyrant's assault, and kills him with a single bolt round, saving Loken's life. Months later, Loken recounts the campaign to his assigned remembrancer and confidant, Mercedes Oleton. As she records his story, she repeatedly returns to the defeated ruler's question of whether the conquest had truly been necessary, leaving both with an unsettling moral dilemma at the heart of the Great Crusade. 3 months after the High City campaign, the Emperor returns to Terra and establishes the Remembrancer Order to preserve the history of the Great Crusade. While some Remembrancers, such as Euphrates Keeler and Mercedes Oleton, embrace their new purpose, the poet Ignace Carcassy quickly becomes disillusioned by the grim realities of the Crusade. Horus further surprises many by granting the defeated false Emperor a state funeral, demonstrating both respect for a worthy foe and confidence in his own victory. Back aboard the Vengeful Spirit, Director Gadden reveals that Garviel Loken has been chosen to replace the fallen Hastur Sejanus in the Mournival, Horus's inner circle of advisors. Though humbled by the honor, Loken accepts, and his conversation with the Legion's chief iterator, Kirill Sinderman, begins to reshape his understanding of his new role. Sinderman teaches that the Great Crusade is meant to spread reason and the Imperial truth, replacing superstition with knowledge while acknowledging that the Astartes are the weapons that make this vision possible. When Loken confesses his doubts about forcing compliance on other human worlds, Sinderman argues that such moral responsibility belongs to the Emperor and Horus, not the warriors who carry out their orders. Most importantly, Cinderman explains that the Mournival exists not to flatter the Warmaster, but to challenge him with honest counsel. Loken's willingness to question, reflect, and retain his humanity convinces Cinderman that he is exactly the kind of voice Horus needs, making him a worthy successor to Sejanus. Mercedes Olaton is unexpectedly invited to accompany the Legion to the newly conquered world of 6319 after Garviel Loken personally requests her presence. Though she cannot witness what is about to happen, he promises to share it with her if the time is right. Loken is then led to a secluded ceremony where Abaddon, Tergaddon, and Aximed formally welcome him into the Mournival, Horus' inner circle of advisors. They explain that he has earned his place through merit and the Warmaster's trust, becoming the first member who is not one of Horus' oldest companions. During a symbolic initiation beneath the moon, Loken swears an oath of brotherhood and lifelong loyalty to the Mournival, Horus, the Emperor, and the Imperium. He is accepted as an equal among the four captains. Meanwhile, Mercedes awaits with soldiers, who explains that a Mournival is an old card hand made of the 4 royal cards, symbolizing victory. As a flare lights the night sky to signal Loken's induction, Mercedes realizes she has witnessed the beginning of an important new chapter in the Warmaster's inner circle and uncovered a piece of the Legion's hidden traditions. The architect Peter Egan Momus presents ambitious plans to rebuild the conquered High City as a monument to Imperial victory, but his lengthy speech fails to inspire either the remembrancers or the defeated locals. Bored by the ceremony, the poet Ignis Carcassy becomes fascinated instead by the towering Mechanicum Titan watching over the city, a silent reminder of the military might enforcing Imperial rule. Frustrated by being kept away from the real story, Carcassy slips away into the ruined streets. There, he discovers abandoned homes, memorials, graffiti, and desperate messages left by the city's former inhabitants. His wanderings eventually lead him to a small tavern, and a drink loosens his tongue. He openly questions the permanence of the Imperium itself, arguing that every civilization eventually falls. His remarks provoke a group of Imperial soldiers who savagely beat him. By the time their officer intervenes, the Imperial Army soldiers beat him nearly to death. Garviel Loken attends his first war council as a member of the Mournival, where he learns that Horus' inner circle consists not to command, but to offer honest advice. During the meeting, Horus praises the rebuilding of the conquered world before hearing reports that despite victory, the planet is still plagued by insurgents. When asked for the Mournival's opinion, Loken recommends sending the Luna Wolves' 10th Company to eliminate the remaining resistance, and Horus immediately accepts his advice, marking Loken's first success in his new role. After the council, the Mournival joins Horus in his private chambers where they meet the Imperial Fist's Primarch Rogel Dorn and his captains, including Sigismund. A spirited debate follows over whether the Great Crusade will ever truly end. While Loken believes the Imperium fights to achieve lasting peace, Sigismund argues that humanity will always have new enemies and that war will never cease. Later, before the Imperial Fist's departure to Terra, Dorn speaks privately with Loken, revealing that he personally supported his appointment to the Mournival. His humanity is a necessary counter to Abaddon's bellicosity and Aximand's lofty disdain. He explains that Horus needs advisors willing to challenge him honestly, rather than simply argue with him. Dorn also reveals that Horus had subtly orchestrated the earlier council, allowing the Mournival, not himself, to call for renewed military action, preserving his reputation as a reluctant peacemaker while still achieving the outcome he desired. A group of remembrancers, led by the Iterator Emon, is granted a rare visit to the Vengeful Spirit's embarkation deck before the Luna Wolves deploy. Ignoring orders not to record images, Euphrates Killer secretly photographs the aging Stormbirds, the bustling preparations for war, and the impressive arrival of Loken's 10th Company. She also witnesses Loken swear his solemn oath of moment before members of the Mournival, capturing what Kirill Cinderman later predicts will become one of the defining images of the Great Crusade. Impressed by her work, Cinderman argues that history must be witnessed as well as made, and Malagers announces that the Remembrancers will accompany the mission to the surface despite the dangers of observing Astartes' warfare firsthand. The mission to totally claim 6319 commences, as Loken's Stormbird descends toward the planet. Mysterious interferences spread through the Vox. What begins as static resolves into a chilling whisper. Samus. That's the only name you'll hear. I'm Samus. Samus is all around you. Samus is the man beside you. Samus will gnaw your bones. Though the flight crew are shaken, Loken dismisses it as enemy psychological warfare and prepares his company for battle. 3 months after the fall of the High City, the Luna Wolves launched their final assault against the Loyalist holdouts who have retreated to a fortress high in the Whisperhead Mountains. As the Stormbirds descend through the atmosphere, strange whispers begin haunting the Vox, repeating the name Samus. Loken dismisses the broadcast as enemy propaganda and leads the 10th Company onto the volcanic plateau below the fortress. Sergeant Xavier Jubal is given the honor to lead the assault on the Mountainhead fortress. The Imperial Army warns that the rebels have held the mountain fortress for 6 weeks. Thousands of soldiers failed and has led to futile bloodshed. But the Astartes succeeds where the Imperial Army failed. Terminators shrug off devastating fire, smash through the defenses, and overwhelm the stronghold in barely an hour. As they advance, the Remembrancers arrive safely in the nearby town of Kashery, where Euphrates Keeler and Kirill Cinderman also hears the unsettling whispers. Cinderman secretly discovers that Samus is an ancient demon from local mythology, though he dismisses it as superstition. Keeler unsettles him by revealing she hears the voice even without a Vox receiver. Inside the fortress, Loken destroys sacred shrines and reflects sadly that the rebels died for beliefs he considers false. Just as victory seems complete, Jubal summons him into the depths of the mountain. There, beside a vast underground chasm, Jubal claims the falling water is speaking to him and declares that he is Samus. Before anyone can react, he opens fire on his own brothers, killing several Luna Wolves and revealing that the mysterious whispers were the prelude to something far more horrifying than psychological warfare. Refusing to shoot the fellow Astartes, Loken confronts Jubal in a brutal duel and finally kills him, though the inexplicable betrayal leaves the Legion shaken. After the fortress falls, Loken secretly tells Kirill Cinderman what happened. Rejecting any notion of demons, Cinderman argues that Jubal must have succumbed to an unknown disease and prepares to quarantine the area. Jubal's body is laid out in a quarantine tent, but moments later, Jubal's corpse suddenly rises, transforming into a monstrous creature that calls itself Samus. The demon shrugs off bolter fire and escapes into the tunnels. Unknown to Loken, Keeler and the Remembrancers evade their army escort to witness the massacre at the stronghold firsthand. When the demon charges out of the shadows, it kills 2 of them. As the creature bears down on Euphrates Keeler, she is left frozen, convinced she is about to die. Garviel Loken is quick to dispatch the cursed Jubal. He buries his chainsword deep into the monster's mutated skull, backed by a squad of Luna Wolves. After the demon calling itself Samus is finally destroyed, Abaddon moves quickly to bury the truth. Officially, the campaign is declared an ordinary victory, with the deaths of the Luna Wolves blamed on the insurgents and the Remembrancers' deaths dismissed as tragic accidents. Loken, haunted by Jubal's betrayal, believes he has failed, but Horus reassures him that he fulfilled every part of his oath and showed true courage by confronting an unimaginable enemy. Horus explains that Samus was not a supernatural demon but a warp entity, an extra-dimensional creature that has exploited the warp anomaly beneath the Whisperhead Mountains, that even Astartes can rarely fall victim to such corruption, and that the Emperor returned to Terra to unlock the secrets of the warp, though even Horus does not know the full truth. His explanation restores Loken's confidence, asking him to keep silent what has transpired beneath the mountains, while hinting at the immense mysteries surrounding the Imperium. When the 10th Company returns to the Vengeful Spirit, the mood is somber, as the fallen are carried home for burial. Heading back to his arming chamber, Loken is met by Mercedes Oleton, who offers to record the events of the campaign. Still traumatized and bound by secrecy, Loken refuses, leaving the horrors of Samus unspoken. Captain Saul Tarvitz soon discovered that the Megarachnid were unlike any enemy the Imperium had ever faced. Their bodies were a horrifying fusion of flesh and chitin, with armor grown into their shells and leaving blades capable of slicing through power armor. Though he despised them, he recognized them as worthy foes, exactly the kind of enemy the Emperor's children believed would forge perfection. As the Great Crusade advances, a distress call arrives from the Blood Angels on 1/40/20, a world Captain Kitas Frome's final transmission. This world is murder, before all contact is lost. The 63rd Expedition Fleet under Horus and a task force from the Emperor's children respond. Arriving first, Lord Commander Eidolon orders an immediate assault instead of waiting, but their mission quickly became a nightmare. Violent shield storms scattered their landing force, leaving Tarvitz isolated with fellow brother Captain Lucius and only a handful of Space Marines. Hidden among endless white stalks, the Megarachnid ambushed and slew veteran Astartes before disappearing. After barely surviving a duel with one, Tarvitz finally understood why the planet was called Murder. What had once been designated 140/20 was no compliant world. It had become one of the Great Crusade's deadliest battlefields, a planet where even Space Marines were hunted. As the 63rd Fleet travels to Murder, Loken uncovers troubling secrets. Sorting through Sergeant Jubal's belongings, he finds a Warrior Lodge medallion, revealing that both Jubal and his trusted second, Nero Vipus, belonged to the secret lodges. Aximen was also a member, and he placates Loken by bringing him as a guest to one of the lodge meetings aboard the Vengeful Spirit. Expecting heresy, Loken instead finds a brotherhood where Astartes, including Tergaden, meets as equals, speaking freely regardless of rank or company. Tergaden and Aximen argue that the lodges strengthened the Legion by forging bonds across companies. Though reassured, Loken remains uneasy, believing secrecy has no place in a military force. Days later, Loken finds Kirill Cinderman searching the ship's archives for anything about demons. Shaken by the events of 6319, the Iterator admits he is struggling to believe and has shaken his faith in the Imperial troop. Soon after, while continuing to record Loken's exploits, Mercedes Oleton asks Loken to sponsor Ignis Carcasse's work, saying that he is a first-rate poet, though less than a perfect human being, and criticizes against the Imperium. He, however, tells the unvarnished truth. Loken respects this, even if that truth is unpalatable. Furthermore, Loken is deeply unsettled after meeting Euphrates Keeler, who was descended into heavy drinking and casual affairs with soldiers aboard the ship. Visiting her quarters to offer comfort, he is shown photographs from her Victor. Although she was officially told the wild beast caused the massacre within the rebel fortress, the images reveal the horrifying reality: a demon clad in broken Astartes power armor. Loken briefly fears that Horus and Abaddon's orders will compel him to silence her, yet Keeler instead entrusts him with the picture, promising to remain silent because she believes he will choose wisely. Once he departs, she uncovers a concealed shrine and quietly prays to the Emperor as a divine being. Soon after, aboard the Vengeful Spirit, Warmaster Horus arrived with the 63rd Expedition on planet Murder's orbit, expecting another routine campaign. Instead, he found Imperial fleets in disarray and realized an entire expedition was already fighting for survival. When the Warmaster's relief fleet arrived to save the shattered 140th Expedition, its commanders expected a delegation of Luna Wolf's officers. Instead, First Captain Abaddon appeared with the Legion's greatest captains, only to reveal they were merely the honor guard. Then Horus himself stepped from the shuttle. The welcoming party fell to their knees, but Horus shocked them by kneeling before Fleet Master Nathaniel August instead, declaring he had come to help, not to be worshipped. He replaced fear with admiration through humility and humor. Loken once again witnessed Horus's greatest gift, inspiring absolute loyalty without demanding it. Weeks later, when a gap finally opened in Murder's shield storms and faint Imperial distress signals were detected, Horus immediately cancelled plans for orbital bombardment and ordered Tarek Targaden to lead a rescue mission. After 90 hours on Murder, Tarvitz's force had dwindled to just 22 Space Marines. Endless ambushes turned survival into instinct as bolters failed and brutal sword duels became their only hope. Following signs of the missing Blood Angels, they were overwhelmed by a massive assault, and when things can't get any worse, a winged Megarachnid swooped and carried Space Marines into the skies. The survivors tracked the creatures to a towering white thorn tree, where they found their captured brothers impaled alive as the monsters fed. Hanging beside them were the rotting remains of Blood Angels. In that horrific moment, the truth became clear. The missing brothers meant to be rescued had never vanished. They had become prey. Saul Tarvitz refused to abandon his fallen brothers, whose bodies had been impaled upon the Megarachnid's towering stone trees. Leading his remaining Astartes brothers, he planted explosives scattered beneath the grisly monuments while winged aliens swooped in to stop them. The last possible moment, the charges detonated, destroying the stone trees in a massive fireball and restoring the honor of the dead. The explosion achieved more than anyone expected. It reunited nearly 50 scattered Emperor's children under Lord Commander Eidolon. But instead of praise, Tarvitz was reprimanded for wasting valuable explosives and ordered back into the ruins to recover the remains of the fallen Blood Angels. Deep within the ruins, a colossal builder creature was already weaving new stone trees from molten cement while hundreds of Megarachnids guarded it. Everything they had destroyed was being rebuilt. Refusing to let the monuments rise again, Tarvitz led just 5 Space Marines into a desperate assault. They fought through overwhelming numbers, but the cost was catastrophic. Lodorotan and Ferost were slain, while the legendary Lucius was entombed beneath living cement after cutting down 16 enemies. Surrounded on all sides, Tarvitz and the last survivors prepared for one final stand. Then the sky erupted. Drop pods slammed into the battlefield as the Luna Wolves arrived, their bolters and plasma fire tearing through the alien horde. A white-armored Space Marine hauled Tarvitz to his feet with a grin. "My name is Tarek, brother. Pleased to meet you." What had been certain death had become a chance for survival. 4 companies of Luna Wolves smashed into the battlefield, rescuing the stranded Emperor's children and scattering the Megarachnid hordes. Captain Tarek Targaden was stunned to learn that Saul Tarvitz and only 5 other Space Marines had held the line against impossible odds. His admiration only grew when the arrogant Lord Eidolon arrived. Rather than bow to rank, Targaden publicly condemned Eidolon's disastrous leadership, forcing the proud commander to back down under the authority of Warmaster Horus. While preparing for the next assault, Targaden discovered an even greater surprise. It had been Tarvitz, not Eidolon, who had uncovered the secret of the alien shield storms by destroying the Megarachnid's towering stone trees. Tarvitz had never claimed the credit, believing duty mattered more than recognition. Impressed by his humility and battlefield instincts, Targaden ordered Tarvitz to lead the combined force deeper into the deadly forest of murder. As the expedition advanced, they uncovered a vast rift valley filled with thousands of alien stone trees and more grotesque monuments displaying the remains of fallen Blood Angels. Targaden immediately ordered the structures destroyed. While atop planet Murder's orbit, a new battle barge had entered the system. Sanguinius, the great angel of the Blood Angels, had arrived to join the war on Murder. Only days before the Murder campaign, Garviel Loken reflected on the great triumph of Ulanor, where the Emperor named Horus Warmaster before returning to Terra. An entire continent became a vast parade ground for 14 Space Marine legions, countless Imperial forces, Titans, and warships. As the Emperor entrusted Horus with the Great Crusade, even battle-hardened Astartes were moved to tears, marking the dawn of a new era. That sense of brotherhood continued on Murder. After Imperial reinforcements secured the planet, Sanguinius honored the fallen Blood Angels with genuine grief. personally thanking Saul Tarvitz and Targaden for their heroism. Together, Horus and Sanguinius then led 6 months of brutal war against the relentless Megarachnid, fighting at the front beside their sons despite overwhelming odds. Their campaign became legendary, strengthening the bonds between the legions and inspiring every warrior who fought alongside them. As victory finally seemed within reach, a new mystery emerged. 3 enormous silver-white starships suddenly entered the system, ignored every Imperial hail, and broadcast hunting musical signals while positioning themselves within firing range. Horus immediately recalled his forces, fearing a new enemy. Then the stranger spoke in perfect human language with a chilling question. "Did you not see the warnings we left? What have you done here?" Fresh from the horrors of murder, the Imperium encountered the Interex. Tall as Astartes but built with finesse and grace, they are a powerful human civilization that lived peacefully alongside alien races. While Abaddon demanded war, Horus saw a chance for understanding instead of conquest. The dispute erupted during the voyage to the Interex homeworld, ending with Horus furiously dismissing his first captain. Later, he confessed to Loken and Aximan that the tragedies of 6319, murder, and the death of Sejanus had taught him the cost of rash decisions. Later on his private chambers, as Sanguinius listened, Horus reached a profound realization. Perhaps humanity had something to learn from the Interex. For the first time in the Great Crusade, the Warmaster chose patience over conquest, believing the greatest victory might be won through understanding rather than war. The Imperium's first meeting with the Interex defied every expectation. Instead of war, they found a peaceful human civilization where music itself formed a language and elegant warriors armed with seemingly primitive weapons concealed deadly skill. Aboard the vengeful spirit, Horus welcomed the Interex as equals. Their envoy, Diath Shen, was overjoyed to learn that Terra still existed, until Horus revealed his title of Warmaster. To the Interex, it symbolized conquest, not unity. Horus admitted the Imperium's mistaken invasion of their quarantined world, Urisarak. Seeking peace, Horus ordered his space marines to remove their helmets. The Interex answered with the same gesture. Then everything changed. Standing among the Interex were alien warriors living openly beside humanity, confronting the Imperium with a truth that challenged one of the Great Crusade's most sacred beliefs. The revelation aboard the vengeful spirit stunned the Imperials. The ape-like Kinebrak were not slaves but trusted allies of the Interex, proving that humans and aliens could coexist. Diath Shen revealed that after defeating the Kinebrak in a century-long war, the Interex chose reconciliation over extermination, forging a partnership that had endured for 3,000 years. Abaddon rejected the idea, but Shen explained that even the monstrous Megarachnids had been spared and quarantined on Urisarak, the world the Imperium called murder. When asked why, he posed a single question. What right should one species have to decide another should cease to exist? Horus realized the campaign on murder had been a tragic mistake, not a liberation. Setting aside pride, the Warmaster openly apologized, determined that understanding, not conquest, would guide the Imperium's future. Abaddon condemned Horus's apology to the Interex as a betrayal, demanding war, while Loken reminded the Mournival that their duty was honest counsel, not blind obedience. As negotiations continued, the Interex invited Horus to a summit that would decide whether the two human civilizations became allies or enemies. At the same time, Horus struggled under the burden of command, even delaying Terra's new taxes to prevent unrest. With this, First Chaplain Erebus of the Word Bearers has arrived and accompanied the fleet on a diplomatic pretext and offered assistance. Erebus, with his steadfast dedication to the Imperium and sound guidance, became a trusted advisor to the Warmaster Horus. With the fate of two civilizations at stake, Horus set out for the summit, hoping to forge peace but prepared to face war. The summit on Zenobia introduced the Imperium to a breathtaking civilization where towering cities, advanced technology, and the haunting melodies of the area existed in perfect harmony. Hoping to prove humanity was more than an empire of war, Horus arrived with poets, scholars, and artists alongside his space marines. Their journey ended in the Hall of Devices, where General Commander Jeff Tanod displayed relics from ancient wars. Among them, Kirill Sinderman discovered the Anatheme, a semi-sentient weapon that could be bound to a single victim, becoming the perfect weapon to kill that one person. This silent blade awaited its next victim. After 2 weeks of failed negotiations, Horus gathered his commanders to decide the Interex's fate. Though the Interex welcomed peace and trade, they refused to join the Imperium. Abaddon demanded conquest, but Horus refused another needless war, declaring the Interex peaceful and undeserving of such destruction. Horus argued that the Emperor's vision was meant to guide, not to bind. His duty as Warmaster is to adapt to a changing galaxy and prevent unnecessary bloodshed. In that moment, the question was no longer the fate of the Interex, but whether the Great Crusade itself had to change. 3 weeks of diplomacy had brought Horus no closer to peace, yet he still attended a private dinner on Zenobia, hoping to persuade the Interex to one day recognize the Emperor's authority. Outside, while guarding the residence, Garviel Loken uncovered a shocking truth. Saul, an Interex commander, revealed that his people understood chaos, the corrupting force within the warp, and had long feared it as humanity's greatest enemy. To them, the Imperium's endless conquests, its Warmaster, and its ignorance of chaos made it seem dangerously close to the evil they had sworn to resist. As Saul realized the Imperials were not corrupted, but simply unaware of chaos, the two stood on the verge of a historic alliance against a common enemy. It seems as if Loken has bridged the gap, and the two sides may now welcome each other as friends. But before the guard can convey this exciting news to his superiors, he receives word of an alarm. A break-in at the Interex's museum where several dangerous Xenos weapons are kept. Cursing Loken as a deceiver, Saul lunges his spear. The Hall of Devices erupted in flames. Imperial communications were cut, and the Interex became convinced they had been betrayed. Forced to defend himself, Loken fought the Interex commander who minutes ago nearly became his ally. After a fierce duel, he defeated Saul, but spared his life before racing to protect Horus. In an instant, humanity's greatest chance for unity was consumed by a war born entirely from misunderstanding. As battle consumed General Nod's residence, Garviel Loken fought to reach Horus, discovering too late that the Interex's elegant bows and spears were deadly enough to cut down space marines. Horus marched towards the burning hall, refusing to abandon humanity's greatest chance for peace, and made one final plea. But he was answered by a deadly volley that killed his warriors and wounded him. Accepting that peace had failed, he seized the fallen Luna Wolf's weapon and led the charge. War has yet again ensued. Leading the fight beside Loken and Targaden, the Luna Wolves carved the path through the burning city, forced to destroy the very civilization Horus had struggled to save. To Loken, Horus would never be the traitor history remembered, but a wounded, unarmored hero who stood unbroken amidst the flames of Zenobia. A month of war later, back at the Vengeful Spirit, Loken revealed the truth of Zenobia to Mercedes. The Legion has subjugated the Interex, but it is a battle he can take little pride in, having grown out of a stupid misunderstanding. The Interex believed that the authorities had stolen an anatheme and refused to accept Horus's claims that he knew nothing about it. Both civilizations had been manipulated into a war built on lies. Weeks later, Horus announced that the Luna Wolves would henceforth be known as the Sons of Horus, a symbol of the burden he now carried as Warmaster. The fleet celebrated the new name, unaware that deep within the forgotten depths of the Vengeful Spirit, Erebus quietly opened the casket containing a weapon. The Anatheme, the weapon that shattered peace and had never been taken by the Imperium. It had been stolen by the word-bearer chaplain himself. While the Legion prepared for its next campaign, Erebus persuaded Horus to make one brief stop at an insignificant moon in the Davin system. No one aboard the Vengeful Spirit realized that this simple detour and the stolen anatheme hidden in Erebus's possession would ignite the Horus Heresy and become the first step toward the Imperium's greatest tragedy.
My faith is my shield.